Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Okay, this is the first time we're doing it Tuesday, I think. Hello, everybody. I am Elain I am one of the co-founders and directors in Ada Plus. And welcome back to another segment of Ask Atta. And Ask Atta is an educational talk show hosted, and brought to you by Atta Plus. And we host it monthly, whereby we invite guest speakers and subject matter experts to share their thoughts, and we can discuss about current issues, specific topics related to equity crowdfunding, financial education, entrepreneurship, talent development, as well as fundraising, and of course investing. So just a little bit of background. Some previous shows that we did, we have hosted speakers like Yasu Tanaka, an award-winning storyteller, and also we've covered topics such as the A to Z of equity crowdfunding. We talked about how do you actually conduct business valuations, as well as demystifying Budget 2021. Today we have a very special guest with us, and we have Miss Joann Enriquez. She's the CEO of investment account platform, or should I say IAP Integrated, right? Nyamrahat, that actually operates the investment account platform. And we're gonna share with you today a little bit about, our strategic alliance that we just, put together, together between Ada Plus and IAP. Okay. And before we get on to that, I just want to let everybody know that today we also have a special quiz that we're running by everybody, a quick fire quiz, whereby there'll be 6 questions, and there's an investment voucher, okay, up for grabs for the person who get the most correct answers, okay? So listen carefully to the conversation, and you're up to, win this 100 ringgit gift voucher, okay? Anyway, let's get back to Joann. Joann, welcome. Welcome to our talk show. And before we move on to talk about, the collaboration or alliance between Ada Plus and IAP, perhaps you can talk a little bit about yourself, a bit about your background, and yes, and how you got into to Malaysia and IAP. Yeah.
I thought that was a behind the scene question.
Maybe 5 minutes, not that much. Yeah, okay.
No.
Maybe. Okay. Go ahead.
So, coming from the US, I worked in the Silicon Valley most of my life, and of course in conventional banking. I reverted to Islam and then found out riba was basically haram. So couldn't do that field anymore. So I pursued my master's in Islamic finance, and I had an option of going elsewhere or Malaysia. So Alhamdulillah, I was brought to Malaysia, and I'm here. Been here for going on 6.5 years.
Wow, nice. Okay.
So after that, I had the opportunity, after my journey of school and being with a startup and being offered the position to run this very unique outfit. I was very blessed. So so I can share more about it if you want.
Okay, later.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, when did you come on to IAP? A few years, right? 3 years already?
2.5 years. Yes. So IAP celebrating its 5 years. Actually, this is a kickoff. Our
anniversary.
Yes, 5 years. And so 2.5 of that is with me. And it was quite a journey, and we're going to cover it as we are here in the platform with you.
Okay, so just a little bit for the viewers, right? Just to let everybody know, IAP has achieved some notable achievements over the years. In the last, 5 years, since their inception, they've raised over 200 million ringgit for 14 campaigns, 14 companies, and from over around 350 individual investors. Yeah. So,
Yes.
Joann, maybe we can kickstart the conversation with, maybe you can explain a little bit more about what IAP does and how it works.
Okay, so can I give a little bit of history on how it came about so people
Yes,
understand,
yes,
yeah, how
please.
different this is? Because the awareness of IAP, we did the study, is still very low, and this is a very unique Malaysian initiative. So even the rest of the world doesn't know about it. It's actually one of Bank Negara's white paper initiative, and one of its testaments to how they are promoting Islamic finance. So I'll give like a 1 minute sort of background on how it came about. So IA is called investment account, short for investment account. So it's IA. The IA product is actually a banking product. Not everyone knows that. So that means that it is something that is issued by the bank and it is regulated by Bank Negara. So this is not. So that's where it began. Now, what is that relative to all of the other products that is available in the different banks that we have? So Malaysia is actually the leader in Islamic finance in many ways, in sukuk and in banking. During the time of Tan Sri Seti, our former governor of central bank, she wanted to be able to promote the Islamic deposits as more or less different from the conventional counterpart. So right now in Malaysia, you have around 2 trillion deposits, right? 65% of Malaysian deposit is conventional, and 35% more or less is Islamic. So it's quite sizable because the total deposit in Malaysia is about 2 trillion. So you have a lot of money in the Islamic deposits. However, it is very similar to the conventional counterpart. I cannot say brother because or sister because that might be controversial. So it's the conventional counterpart. Um, uh, so to be able to do that, they basically launched the investment account 5 years ago, which is more or less a quasi deposit, quasi investment sort of situation. So that's the briefer. How it works is that the real question. So that's the background. So let's pull up a chart so that it's very hard to explain because it's a bit more complicated. So we have a simple chart to show you. So this is how it works, no? So we are at the center. It's the called the investment account platform. More or less everything, how shall I say, meets in our platform. You have three other parties apart from us. That's your venture, your bank, and your investor. So everyone more or less meets there. Your venture applies there, your investors invest there, and the bank intermediates between the venture and the investor in the platform as well. So unlike the typical bilateral contract, has two contracts coming out of the bank. One is with a venture and one is with the investor. So that's more or less what differentiates us from what you do, Elaine, because this is quite a different structure where the bank intermediates with between the venture and the investor. So that's us in a nutshell.
All right. Okay. So, can you maybe perhaps share some of the qualifying criteria? When you screen the businesses that are looking for to participate in this kind of financing.
Okay, so this is how Elaine and I more or less started talking about 2 years ago. Um, uh,
Yeah.
we more or less realized that we cannot meet all of the demands of the applicants that come into our platform, all of the ventures. So we wanted to see how we can utilize and maximize this opportunity. So what is required, because it's a banking facility, in a way, what is the most minimum criteria is that you've had, or more or less you've been operation in 3 years. 3 years, 2 years all of which have represented audited financial statements, and that you've become profitable in the last 2 years of your filing. So that more or less is the initial criteria that IAP screens for. Of course, because we have five banks participating in this, it's a multi-bank platform. Uh, they have their own special preferences and special due diligence. One bank will vary from the other. So when the venture applies, it goes to all of our participating banks. It is likely that you may get multiple offers from these various banks. It is also possible that you won't. So we as an IAP perform initial screening so that only the ones that go to the banks are more or less to their liking, right? And that's where Ata Plus also enters. So if we feel that it's more appropriate for Ata Plus, then we send it to you, inshallah.
Excellent. So yeah, I think you mentioned correctly. We spoke, I think, in 2019. That was the first time you came to our office, and yeah, that was I think just after you joined in, and you were starting to look at a more creative way of supporting the ecosystem,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's been a while. That's a good, well, 2020 passed by very fast because of this COVID. So 2019 was really a crunch time year for us, meaning we did a lot of overhauls and quite successful at that. But then, of course, the 2020 changed the whole story and the dynamics of everything else in the world. So now 2021, we're here talking again.
Hello, we have Hasniza Ibrahim, and hello, welcome to our talk show. Anyway, so yeah, since Joann talked about the qualifying criteria, so I think the relationship that we are looking at here is whereby the companies that approach IAP, and these are not necessarily bad companies, but it's just that they don't fulfill the minimum criteria, right? Yeah.
So, yeah. So as I was talking to, looking at how the operations will do, one of our staff explained to me. I'd forgotten accounting classes was like how long ago? 25 years ago. The balance sheet where you have assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity is how he explained it to me. Yeah. So we more or less fall on the liability side, and you guys are on the owner equity side, right? We
Yeah.
have a Wipro now, and this is a very good case in point because it's owned by a Malaysia. I cannot divulge the name, but I will give the description. It's an amazing initiative in the construction world by an expert in what he does. He's Malaysian, and he's competing with all of these big companies from Singapore, China, Japan, and all of these things. So it's like our baby project, and we want him to rise. He's never had any banking facility. Uh, but he needs something large enough where his capital is also not sufficient because it will throw his gearing ratio off, right? So the gearing ratio is the ratio between your liabilities and your owner's equity, right? So then he can raise in Ata Plus to increase his owner's equity. He obviously qualifies for a banking facility, but not just enough for what he needs. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other. The products that you guys offer in the equity crowdfunding space and that we offer in the banking facility space can actually complement each other and are not actually cannibalizing each other, which some people may think, or giving something that is subgrade or whatnot. No, there are various stages, there are various products that can harmoniously work together, and we as a platform cannot offer that by ourselves. And it is such a waste when they come to us and we cannot give them what they need because we do not have all of the ingredients accessible. So hopefully with Ata Plus partnership, we are able then to provide more options for them that we we can holistically meet what they need in terms of making their venture succeed.
Yeah. So, and this is where I think your tagline, "No ventures left behind," that yeah. This is a tagline, whereby IAP actually first came up with to celebrate the fifth year anniversary, as well as our collaboration. And I think, and this answers, I think, the question from Sylvia soon. And we received this question: how do I know if I should raise funds from IAP or Ata Plus? And I think Joann actually answered part of it, whereby you can look at go to IAP if you're looking for project financing. But whereas with us, with Ata Plus, is more of growth, for business growth and expansion, and whereby it's equity financing, and we can actually look at any stage of the business. And typically, just to enlighten everybody, or those who may not know about equity crowdfunding, there's about, I think I would say 90% of our companies are young startup companies, but it doesn't mean that there's no opportunities. Of course, they are great companies, and you just need to make sure that you comply with the Securities Commission guidelines. You have your books in order, your management accounts in order. You have a proper business plan and also proper financial projections, and we can actually look at these companies, to come on board. And there's also one thing that I want to mention about the exciting part about equity crowdfunding is that there's also the matching fund from the government, which is the Malaysian Co-Investment Fund, or MySIF. It's a 30 million fund that's been allocated for budget 2021. And with that matching fund, for every 4 ringgit you raise from the crowd or from the public, the fund will match with 1 ringgit, up to 1 million ringgit per company. So that's something great, okay. So anyway, Joann, I have a question that you may want to maybe touch upon, and just get your feedback, and then I can add on. This is a question from Dr. Nur Saidatul Mazlan. Dr. Nur's question is that 2 platforms are better than 1. All right. Can we get 2 fundings under 1 application?
Well, so we have a meeting on Thursday, by the way, Elaine. I'm sorry to tell you. So we can hash it out so that they can make this happen. So for us, when they apply in iaplatform.com, we will screen it, and at that point we will know if it's something that is for the banks, and if it's something that needs equity crowdfunding. So at that point we'll be able to know. So then our meeting will probably be hashing out the best way to package everything so that they don't have to duplicate their efforts. So we can perhaps find a way to make it easy for them to just apply once, and vice versa. So shortcuts is very necessary because time is very limited. And plus, also going back to the prior topic, before I forget, I easily forget things, by the way, Ata Plus is how old now? About 5 also? 4.
Yes, our anniversary is the platform is coming out. It's 1st of March, actually. Our 4th anniversary in terms of operationalizing the platform. So 1st of March.
Yeah, so around 4 and 5 years old. So we are in the frontiers of all of these things, right? There's still much to be learned. There's still a lot of things to uncover. So many things are still unfolding, and so in collaboration you are able to find how shall I say, not necessarily shortcuts, but many more efficient ways of doing things. Like when IAP first came about, there was only 1 product, and we realized that's not going to work. So we had to expand this. We didn't have any plan chance of being an intermediary between us and other places. But why will you not do that if they're already at your doorstep and they're relying on you and entrusted you with the application? Why waste that and duplicate their efforts? So everything that we do, I think, in ATA Plus or even in IAP or any of the new the digital technology initiatives, especially in Malaysia, is still in the very frontiers of what we are doing. So many things are still to unfold, and hopefully we'll contribute to that in a very positive way.
Yes, thanks for that, Joann. I would like to say hello to Julius. Thank you, Julius. Yeah, Julius said, superb partnership to offer best options for business owners to grow their business. Absolutely, we hope so. We hope to, we strive to do that. Strive to do that. And Malaikum Salam, Siti. Thank you. And yes, my SAFE has been extended. Yeah, because we had more money. Yeah, so thank you for the government, for the allocation of 30 million. Oh, well, we hope we could have more, but thank you nevertheless.
Is
Yeah.
that from the last budget? Is that from the last budget? From last
It's for the budget. The last budget finished.
Ah,
It's completely gone. And I must say that we also thank you, Securities Commission and Ministry of Finance, for really, really coming up with a more aggressive matching at that time, because they were really trying to help businesses for COVID-19, for recovery. So,
yes.
and hence, I think the one thing that they've changed or improved is that last time the maximum is 500,000 ringgit per company. Now they've increased the limit to 1 million for a company.
1 million per company match.
Maximum.
Match. But what is the limit now in SC for fundraising?
10 million. They've
Makes
amended that. Yeah, it used to be 5 million. And January last year, they've amended it to 10 million ringgit. Because, you see more matured SMEs, they require bigger funding.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's the case that I've shared. Yeah. So
Yeah.
also I forgot to mention earlier, and since we're on the topic in terms of numbers, our average investor. I was
Yeah.
surprised to even see our average investor invests about 200K for
Wow.
in terms of retail. So I was like, mashallah, that's good. So I mean, it's really a totally different
Yeah.
how should I say platform, and putting it together, I think is really matching everyone else's need and capacity. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 200,000 is not retail for us. 200,000 is very sophisticated.
Yeah, so our corporates, we have corporates. The average is around 2.5. So
Million. Wow.
yeah, so combined, they make up almost 50% of the fundraising, and the other half is, of course, given by the topped up by the bank themselves. So I mean, there's still a lot of potential. There's still a lot of creativities that need to happen, but fundamentally, I think all of the collaborations between the SC Bank Negara and maybe some other outfits within the country, multilateral banks, developmental banks in Malaysia and abroad that are pushing for one and the same thing should really collaborate, so that there's no overlap of what they're doing, and at the same time we can enhance each other's capacities, because we're all unique. And there's a lot of things to do. We will not lack of anything to do, no matter what.
Okay, Joann, we have a question from Wang Kai Cheong. Hi, Joann. I know about ECF, but what is the form of funding from IAP? Is it like a loan with interest?
Okay, so that's a good question. So can we pull back because I did not delve into the contract itself, but the slide actually explains it. If you can pull up the slide again so that it's very clear. So as I've said, there's two contracts here. So the specific question that he's asking from is that which is the orange arrow. If I'm not mistaken, that's orange. That goes from the bank and the venture and the bank and the investors. So contract B is mostly an investment contract. Okay. The one that is he's asking about that goes from the venture to the bank, because it is Islamic, falls under three types of categories. It's still a banking facility, but it can be a cost plus profit, which is what they know as murabaha. And the other one is could be a lease back, which is ijara, or a mudaraba, which is also a investment. So it depends on the bank. The question is, it depends on the bank. These are the three variations, and it is not. Although there is an interest representation, for example, profit rate, that's in percentage form. It is not actually called interest. It is called profit from the transaction, but it is still in a percentage form.
Thanks for that, Joann. And I would like to welcome Mr. JB in the house. Yeah, JB is from Gobi Ventures, and we also have Muzamis who joined us from IAP, who's explained a little bit more about IAP in the chat room, and Aimi is here as well. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. And for those who've just joined us, welcome to Asata. And joining me today is Joann Enriquez, CEO of IAP, today to talk about, a little bit about the services that they offer, and as well as, the collaboration between ADA Plus and IAP. Okay, there is a question. Okay, I think we've answered from Shahira Shaharuddin. How do we apply for IAP and Other Plus? Oh, we have a question from Julius. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I read this correctly. Is it a non-equity venture by either the bank or IAP? I'm not sure if I understand that correctly.
Okay, so for my side, there's there's many different permutations based on the banking contract that is issued by the bank, specific to whoever is providing it, right? So Bank Islam will be different from Maybank, will be different from Afin, will be different from Muamalat, will be different from RHB. So uh yeah, so there was a question on Islamicity, or was that a question
So
that was
that's only, it just, no, I think what Julius means, does it mean it's a non-equity venture by either bank? But like you said, it can be equity, right? If it's a mudaraba, that's
yes.
equity, right?
Mudaraba is profit sharing. We do not
Sorry,
issue.
profit sharing, profit sharing.
Yeah, so we do not issue shares. So equity is kind of like, your equity is different from, it's kind of overlapping explanation, but the difference between us is the money or the financing that you give is in return for an equity or an ownership in the company. It's just like sort of shares of stock, right? So for us, it's
Right.
like it's like a liability. It's a liability that they need to repay. We do not take ownership of their company. We, however, will have three various contracts that comes out of the bank, and that all depends on which bank it is. But it can be a mudaraba, which is profit sharing. We do not issue shares. It's still profit
Yeah, got
sharing.
it.
In a way, it is like kind of a, you have an equity stake at it because it is profit sharing, but it's really not the way it is in similar to Ata Plus, where we have to give up a portion of the company.
Okay. Thanks for that, Joann. Okay, we have Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Welcome to Us Ata today. And Joann, maybe you want to share a little bit about, moving forward, what can we look forward to IAP after the 5th year? What are the plans? Maybe if you
Okay.
can share, if it's not that confidential.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So when IAP was first formed, and this is going on the administrative portion now. But it's good to know, so especially for people who are not aware. It was actually an invitation by Bank Negara to several banks. Actually, everyone was invited. All of the Islamic financial institutions, all of the Islamic banks were invited. Six of them said yes, we are gonna come and put a bit of capital so that we can form a platform where you can do what you need to do as described with what we are doing now.
So which
Um,
banks are these, Joann? Can you share which are the
so
banks?
this is in no way in order of my favoriteness. Okay, it's just whatever.
Okay, okay.
So it's Afin Islamic, and each of the CEOs of this bank are actually in my board. So I'm very, how shall I say? I have that. How shall I say that? I'm very grateful for their support because, these are CEOs of banks. They're very busy, right? But they still manage to come together in the table, and I've called so many emergency boards last year, and they would still come. Alhamdulillah. So, Afin Islamic, Maybank Islamic, Bank Muamalat, Bank Islam. We have RHB, and oh my goodness gracious, and BSN. No, RHB is a special case. RHB came in a bit later, and is a sponsoring bank. But RHB was not part of the first six. So we actually have seven participating banks, including BSN. Wait a minute, I'm gonna get shot if I forget forget someone. I said Bank Muamalat. I said Bank Islam. I said Maybank. I said Afin. I said Bank Rayat. I said RHB.
RHB?
And yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it. Yeah.
seven.
Sorry, continue, please. Continue, please. Yeah.
Yeah, so Bank Negara invited them, and of course, obviously, not everyone said yes, right? For some reason, these six managed to put in a bit of capital to be able to form this Berhad, Senderian Berhad that we are in now, which is called Raid, and then the subsidiary is IAP. So I'm very grateful for these six because on top I mean the money to them is really quite negligible in terms of amount, but it's the effort and the responsibility, I think, that is quite priceless, huh? So they are trying to push forth the Islamic the investment account within their banks, and also then encourage the brotherhood within the platforms. And there's still other people that are trying to come in, but it's not easy, because you have to not everyone can offer investment account. You have to
Yeah.
pass by Bank Negara's requirements. So it's like coming up with a new banking product. So many want to do, but it's very difficult because it takes a lot of time. You have to justify the profitability. You have to do all of these things, and not all of the CEOs in the Islamic banks are able or can have the time to be able to do this. So I'm very grateful to the seven who continues to support this initiative. So now it's been 5 years. We still hope that more will join the collaboration, not necessarily as owners but as sponsoring banks. We have come up with new products where even the current ones that are there can co-host, similar to us, can co-host the other banks, so they don't have to come up with a new product. So there's like 5 or 6 iterations of products that came about in these past 3 years. We have one that is coming very soon. I cannot say, but this is going to be the highlight of our 5-year anniversary, because this is a very unique product where how shall I say, it liberates the bank from uh, I have to be very careful. It liberates from how shall I say, the rigidness of the conventional way of doing things. So it's a first try, and the beneficiary is quite our Bumiputra small and medium scale entrepreneurs that provide contracts to government. So it's quite a secure, how shall I say, venture. And so we've created a product that will help this particular institution do what they do best. They need money, so we'll come up with some sort of liquidity solution for them. If
So
this
when,
sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
so if this happens, it breaks the glass ceiling that all of the average investor can put in and support these types of initiatives. It's not only government, it's not only funds, but you and I who have spare financing, who have spare money, can invest in these for a noble cause with a safe investment, because as I've explained, this is all bank intermediated. So we are trying to get the best of both worlds, right? The democratization of investment, but at the same time relying on the bank's expertise
So
in what they do best.
yeah, Joann, when can we expect the launch of this product?
Uh, it was
Roughly.
supposed to be in a month, hopefully. It was supposed to be at the around February. Then it got pushed to a bit around in the later part of March. Not because of anything except that there needs to be a lot of approvals in
Yeah, I
terms of
understand.
the offer. Yeah, but
Okay.
when this happens, everyone can follow that. So we can use this uh, massive amount of of opportunity to fund very, very noble initiatives, but also real economy movement. Right? Not just put your money and then it will be used for financing of a
Yeah,
house or a car. Right? It's real economy stuff, which is
yeah.
what we do.
Thanks for that, Joann. Thank you, Davina. Hi, welcome to Ask Atta. We have another question from Siti Fatima. Looking at the number of companies approaching IEP and ECF platforms are less than 200 companies as at end of 2020. What are the strategies used to increase the entrepreneurs' participation? I mean, can I answer that first? Joann.
Yes.
So, Siti, just to let you know, specific to Atta Plus, actually, since we launched our platform, we've received in total, just for Atta Plus, over 200 applications. Yeah. So to be precise, 227 applications, and out of that, we've listed. Hang on a minute. I've got the numbers here. I think, yeah. So we've listed over, um, I think 60 companies and around 60 companies, and in total now, 40 of them are successful. Yeah. So, I mean, looking at, obviously, there's a lot of companies that come in, but again, with our platform, we are driven by the guidelines. Yeah. So long as the businesses actually fulfill the SC guidelines and our screening requirements and process, it can get listed. However, of course, fundraising is another story altogether, right? With equity crowdfunding, we do our best to market and promote the crowdfunding campaigns, but it is again up to the owners of the business owner to work together with us, and approach investors, pitch their investment and hence secure the money. Yeah. And of course, moving forward, we are more aggressive this year. Yeah. Looking at, I think our target is over 100 applications just this year alone, because we do also see that a lot of companies are, not perturbed or will accept the challenge of COVID, and new businesses sprouting out as well. Yeah, so we do want to support these startups as well as SMEs. What about you, Joann? About your
So,
pipeline?
so for us, we did a study, right? We partnered with INSIF. It's the Center for Islamic Finance where I'm also an alumni for. And the learnings on that basically is the lack of awareness of IAP. Huh? Not a lot of people know about IAP. So for us, we really need to invest time and resources for awareness and knowledge. Yeah? So at least on the SC side, there's a lot of you guys. There's how many P2P now and how many ECF? Around 11,
Uh,
11,
20,
5.
20 in total. So
20
yeah,
in total, yeah. So for us, we're alone. We're by ourselves. But anyway, I think road shows, uh, again, it's collaboration to be able to increase the awareness if you want volumes. Again, as you've pointed out, Elaine, the raising of the funds is a different story. But in terms of the
yeah.
application of ventures, the only solution to that is really to increase awareness. I mean, it is known to all of us that our SMEs are suffering and is needing financing. So it's either awareness or really collaboration. And and this is one of the reasons that drove us to knock on Ataplas's door and see how we can help each other. So again, awareness, collaboration, and then maybe partnering up with some GLCs that have the same objective.
Yeah. Okay, so actually we got about 5 minutes left. We'll probably extend it to another 5 minutes, yeah, because now it's time for the quick fire quiz. Okay, 100 ringgit voucher up for grab, right? And the winner takes all the 6 questions all together. So first question, okay, drum roll. Okay, now you please type in your answers, right? So that we can track your answers, and the winner, all right, will get 100 ringgit. First questions: only startups are eligible to raise funds through equity crowdfunding. True or false? Yes or no? Only startups are eligible to raise funds through equity crowdfunding. Okay, put your answer right now. Type your answers here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the answer is false. Yeah. So for those of you who got it right, great, awesome. So the answer is no. So not only startups, so we accept any businesses that is a registered Sendirian Berhad or a limited liability partnership registered with SSM. Yeah. So those kind of companies, yeah, can apply. Yeah, make sure your paid up capital is not more than 10 million ringgit as well. Okay. Second question: you can raise funds on IAP's platform if you have less than 2 years worth of audited accounts. You can raise funds on IAP's platform if you have less than 2 years worth of audited accounts. Okay, and is that correct or false? True or false?
Hey, Elaine, on that, I just want to know. Yours is 1 year, right? Your side. You required
No,
at least 1 year.
no. Ours, if you want to raise more than 500,000, yes, you must have your auditor accounts in order. Okay, your latest auditor accounts. All right. But if you want to raise less than 500,000, just your latest management accounts that's certified.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Joann, is that true or false?
False.
False. Okay, false. Okay. Right. Next question. I need to have a lot of money to invest in an ECF campaign. Is it true or false? I need to have a lot of money to invest in an equity crowdfunding campaign. Is it true or false? Okay. True or false? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, 4, 5. So the answer is false. Okay. The smallest investment that we have accepted to date on an equity crowdfunding campaign is 1 ringgit. That
Oh,
is so little, right, we accept. Okay, it depends on the issuer, right? So it is very inclusive. We are truly democratizing investments. All right. So
So for
yeah,
us, we actually have depend on the banks also, but the minimum
right,
we have is 5K.
right. That's very good actually.
5K. 5K
That's,
is
yeah, that's the upper limit for the retail investor on equity
yeah.
crowdfunding. Okay. All right. Fourth questions. I can raise funds on IAP and on Atta Plus at the same time.
You better
True
get
or false? I can raise funds on IAP and on Atta Plus at the same time. True or false? Okay. First person to answer, get it correct. First person to answer, get it correct. Is it true or false? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, are you supposed to be reading? There's notes here on who got it right. The Q1, Q2, Q3, no?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Because I can see it.
Okay. All right. No, well, yeah, well, they can say, but it depends. Our team
Mhm.
will be the judge of that.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
the answer is true. It is true. So the processing is done differently, of course. Yeah, but they can raise, and if both are approved on both platforms, yes,
Yes,
the
yes.
company can raise at the same time. Am I
Yes.
correct, Gwen?
Yes. Two different forms. We explained it with the balance sheet equation. Yes.
Yes, correct. The fifth question, okay, as an investor, I can invest in any of the companies raising funds with IAP directly. Is it true or false? So, as an investor, I can invest in any of the companies raising funds with IAP directly. Is it
Wait,
true or false?
I'm not clear about this too much. I can
Okay,
invest in any of the companies raising funds with IA.
directly. I mean, as an individual, like on Atta Plus, right?
Uh-huh.
They can invest directly as an individual,
Okay.
right?
So no, because technically we're bank intermediated, right? So they
Yeah.
have
So
to.
it is false, right? The
Yeah.
answer is false. Yeah. So, Joanne, can you explain a bit more? So they have to set up an account with the bank, right?
Yes, yes. So basically, when we raise the when we list the venture, you it is put in a actual bank account. It's called the investment account, and you will receive your payouts there as well. So it will all be there in you put your money there, the bank will take it there, and the bank will put in your profit and your because our tenure can be hold to maturity, meaning you have to wait for the project to complete. But there are some that pay monthly, there are some that pay quarterly. So the bank puts all of the proceeds there in the bank account.
Okay. Thank you for that, Joanne. Last question. Okay. Winner takes all. All right. So I'll announce the winner at the end of our segment today. I can invest in any of Atta Plus's campaigns directly. Oh, I gave the answer. Bef- um, no, I'm going to change the question. I'm going to change the question. All right, I'm going to change the question. All right, okay. Okay, if anyone was listening to me when I was speaking, then you will get this right. What is the smallest amount that we have accepted to date in an investment on Ataplas platform? Okay, for a successful issuer, what was the smallest amount that we have accepted to date, right, in a fundraising campaign on Ataplas to date, or even in all the platforms? What was the smallest amount? Okay, so the answer is 1 ringgit. So it's first come, first serve. All right. so, so, Miss Producer, who's the winner? Drum roll. Who's the winner? And the winner is Wan Mohalina. Congratulations. It's one Molina. The answer is 1 ringgit. Sorry, Andrew. It's not 10 ringgit. It's 1 ringgit. Okay. And Mohalina, congratulations. Yeah, 100 ringgit gift voucher. All right, awaits you. We will send you an email. Okay, please share your email and then we will send you an email. Again, that's the only time we have today. All right, people, I'm sorry, we've overshot the time. I mean, it's when we have the most fun, then, time moves very fast, right? Anyway, any last words from you, Joann? Please.
Thank you for making this a special 5-year anniversary for us. Our alliance has kicked off a month-long celebration. Hopefully, this is the start of many, many other things. So stay tuned, and we look forward to making the journey of our ventures more holistic with Ata Plus beside us, inshallah. And stay safe, everyone.
Thank
Assalamualaikum.
you. Salam. Thank you, Joanne. And likewise, we are really excited with this collaboration, and we look forward to how we can work tighter with you. And like you say, to make the process more seamless so that we can help more companies out there, yeah, to access funds from both our platforms. And again, people, everybody who's joined us today, thank you very much for joining us. And for those people who answered the questions but did not win the voucher, tune in the next one. And for the next segment, we are actually covering topics on International Women's Day, covering women initiatives, women empowerment and everything women. Okay. Anyway, okay. So look out for it, and we will be sending you the updates. And look out for the announcement on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on IG, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter. And with that, thank you very much again for tuning in. Have a good day. Assalamualaikum, and stay safe, everybody. Goodbye. Bye. Thanks, John.